Thank
There we
you.
go. Okay. Our mission. Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting parents whose children have passed. Through support and resources offered, we aspire to help individuals become shining light parents, meaning a shift from a state of emotional heaviness. Whoops, something just popped up. I'm sorry. It is blocking my screen. Hang on. Oh, that's just fun. Okay.
We can see you.
Okay. There we go. Sorry, friends. There's just some kind of a pop-up that decided kids are messing with us. Anyway, to one of hopefulness and greater peace of mind. HPH goes a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and afterlife evidence in a non-dogmatic way. HPH affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and encourage open dialogue. Attendance at this meeting is voluntary, and we hope that participants will learn from and share with each other. Discussions here are confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Zoom meetings run by leadership are not confidential. These meetings typically feature guest presenters and are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members worldwide can watch and benefit. Neither type of HPH meeting is designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers, allowing parents to learn about the many possible ways to heal. This includes presenters covering progressive topics such as afterlife evidence and connecting with children who have passed. The views expressed by our guest speakers may or may not reflect the opinions of Helping Parents Heal leaders and members, so we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally.
Okay,
All
thank you.
right,
Well,
welcome.
welcome everybody. Everyone, we're really glad to have you here tonight. And soul planning has been one of the most healing aspects of my journey, I have to admit. I didn't know about it for many years because it really hadn't become kind of mainstream, well, mainstream for all of us that are in this world. But but once I learned about it actually through Robert Schwartz. It has just been one of the healthiest for me and the most informative way of living my life and looking at everything that I'm living, going through, any experience. I trust now as it's come into my life, and I must be able to do it. I actually now embrace it in a way. It's like, oh no, not this. And yet I trust that if it's come into my life, it's here for a reason. And who knows if it's a season, as they say, but I know it's here and it has meaning and purpose. And so I embrace it in that way. So many of you know that Scott, my son, has been my greatest teacher, and I am continuing to hear him now, all these years later, as such an inspiration to me in ways that I never imagined. So and I did not hear Scott's voice or his insights or anything for a number of years. So if you're not feeling that or getting that right now, and you're finding it frustrating, or you hear of other moms that happening or dads that happening for them, trust your journey and it will evolve if it as it's needed to. And to not, I think I got into expectations as well, like what I wanted, what I needed, what I was begging for. Scott, it's kind of like, bring this to me somehow. I don't know how you could do this, but now he is my greatest source of information in so many ways. And so I put this together where there were a lot of quotes that I would just write down on post-it notes or whatever. But I finally took the time and wrote down a lot of things that Scott has told me that come directly, from him in spirit. And I thought that they might be interesting to kind of talk about, or just even for you to think about. Um, one of the first things that he gave me, and it's not in any kind of order, I can tell you that from what I have here, um, is what we've learned. And he told me that this story is bigger than us. As a human being, we've known ourselves as a human being. We know how life is working. It's hard, it's challenging, but this experience opens us up to what we don't even know what it's going to open us up to. Initially, it's, so hard. But when you're a part of helping parents heal and you have opportunities to learn and expand and see the bigger picture, that our children are present in the ways that they need to, whether you see, like I would see a vapor trail in the sky. And I knew somehow that was from Scott because he had given me a poem that was called The Vapor Trail. So now for me, even today, all these years later, when I look out into the sky and I see a vapor trail, it's like, he's here. And so, we begin to see what signs um, are shown to us. And so we begin to see that this story that we're living with our children, but the story is bigger than us. And that allows us then to begin to expand in ways that we can't always do as humans because we need proof, or we need to see it in a different way. But when we allow it and just open ourselves up to something that's much greater and bigger than us and that we could never have quite imagined, the pain of it, but also the amazing part of it, which is the experiences that can follow or can, be put into our lives with our children. So the story is bigger than us. Just kind of take that in. And another thing he brought me was the phrase, the words, can I make a healing a partner on this journey? Can I embrace the healing? Can I look at that as something, as a partner, as I'm moving through each day? That the experiences that I'm seeing and feeling are here to pull me along and push me along, or make me ask questions, or to come to a meeting, or want to see more, or delve into something. So when we know this picture is already bigger than us, can we make healing a partner on this and just accept that this is really what I want and I need on this journey, is to have this healing um, work with me and show me the way and give me the footprints and the footsteps and the people and the words and the aha moments and all of those things to bring me just more insights into what is this journey all about. Our individual journeys are so individual, but a lot of times they can be very uniquely connected as well. Another thing that Scott had said to me, that wake-up calls are needed for shifts to happen. And when something suddenly happens and maybe you're having a really desperate day, or you don't really know what to do in the missing, or maybe it's their birthday or something like that. But when you have a day like that, it's almost like a wake-up call. You want something more to come. It may not come on that particular day, but any feelings that you're having when or even when you have something come into your mind that's an awareness kind of thing, that like, wow, I didn't even know that that could happen. We need to have these wake-up calls in order for shifts to begin to happen. And we're always going to be shifting. I'm still shifting at this point in my life, and I couldn't have expected that. Not that I'll never know it all. I guess I just keep my mind and my heart open to whatever may come, which allows me then to be um, surprised a lot, but also to know that Scott is working alongside of me now for 30 years, that I wouldn't have known what to. I don't know how I would have done this journey otherwise, but I would have done it the way it needed to come to me, and like each of you are doing. So the wake up calls that sometimes are just so hard, trust that they come in because they jog something in you. They open up something to you. You might talk to someone else that gives you more insight because that episode took place or that shift was taking place. Um, yeah, the resource that you have, always continue to look for those. So soul planning, when we look at all this, I now look at everything that I'm going through in my life as needed, and that it was expected for me to go through this. And even if it feels unfair, or it hurts, I still trust the journey as it takes me into new places. So I'm going to stop there. I see a question that I want to kind of make sure that we, you know, take those as they come. So um, I see. Meg, do you want to ask your question?
Sure. Sorry, my camera's frozen.
Oh, okay.
Um, but yeah, I have something I want to run past everyone. I have something that just keeps happening in my life. And I don't know if it's a wake-up call or is it some kind of a lesson I'm supposed to be learning from this thing. So, about a year ago, I was out walking the dog and we got attacked badly by another dog. And my dog was very injured. It was super traumatic. And I'm still kind of dealing with the trauma of that. But no matter where I walk the dog, and he's always on a leash, I very often encounter someone with a dog off a leash. The dog approaches me, and the person may or may not care that the dog is off the leash and get into an argument with me about it. And I'm walking away the entire time trying to make this encounter stop. Um, sometimes they're nice about it, but is this like some kind of a wake up call, or is this a lesson that I'm just not learning? And if you have some ideas, please help because it is really, it seems, I don't know what category to put it in, to be completely honest, or if it even belongs in one of those categories.
Well, it's real and it's happening. So that's a life experience. So, know that. So I'm glad that you have said something about it. It's really rather unique because um, most of the people around me still have their dogs on leashes that I see. I mean, I don't know, is that kind of a law in your state or is it?
Oh yeah, it's a law. But very often people aren't following it.
So have you ever said anything to anyone about, I really had a really bad episode with a
Oh
dog that
yeah,
was not on a leash
I
and
did I did that today. Uh, I had a woman today who just was uh, just cussing me out up and down, telling me it was my problem as I'm walking away with my dog on a leash. So, what is this lesson I'm supposed to learn?
anybody have a suggestion?
Oh my God.
I don't know if anybody else has run into anything quite like this. It's really quite unique. Um, let's see. Liza, do you have a suggestion?
Oh my goodness, Meg. I don't even have a dog to walk, but I've had dogs jump on me who were not on leashes. And I love dogs, don't get me wrong. But when you're walking, minding your business, and a dog out of nowhere jumps on you, it's startling. And I will say, oh, and I'll be startled. And they always say, don't worry, he's a friendly dog. But the last time
Want me to
I
lower it?
I was
Okay,
really
sweetie.
shook by it, and
So,
I said to the man, but I don't know this dog. And he's supposed to be on a leash. And I live in the suburbs of New York State, and it's definitely a law, but I do come across it. But one time in particular, which I it's interesting that Meg should bring this up, is there's a young boy who passed away the same age as my son, who actually lives around the corner. And I was wondering if I was going to catch his mother outside just so I could go over and say hello to her. And as I was walking past his house, the neighbor's dog came out and jumped on me. And the man said, don't worry, he's friendly. But that's when I said I was so shook that I shouted back at him, but he's supposed to be on a leash and I don't know this dog. And as I kept walking, I was like, I was just trying to walk past that to see that mother. I'm like, was I meant? Was that dog actually friendly? Was that dog my son saying hello? Like I got in my head a little bit, but at the same time, I was thinking, no, dog belongs on a leash. He should not have jumped me. But I was trying to make something more out of it, I think. So when Meg mentioned that, I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm in a different state, but I'm experiencing the same thing because it's happened to me a couple of times as I've been walking different dogs, and they always say something to me as if it's me that I'm crazy, but the law is your dog is supposed to be on the leash. But anyway, I needed to add to that because it just felt so familiar. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know in your case, Meg, what that is, but I'm sorry that you had a horrible experience to begin with. And that to me is it's probably natural for you to be on guard like that. I would be. Like I said, I like dogs, but I'm nervous around strange dogs. I think we should all be alert when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's some kind of symbolic reasoning or if there's something more to it with that other than that. I don't know. But I know that through my grief and everything, I feel like I'm a little bit more anxious and a little I get startled a lot more easily the past couple of years. So I don't know. But I just
So
needed to add
interesting.
to that.
But Liza, thank you for sharing that. But I thought it was interesting that you shared that you wondered if it was your son coming through in some friendly way. And that is
Because
kind of
the
intriguing.
dog was friendly when, in retrospect, as I walked past, the dog was. I'm only 5'1", so when the dog jumped on me, he was up to my shoulders,
Oh,
and when in retrospect, his tail was wagging. He was being friendly, but it still startled me, and I was still mad that the guy said it's okay. But I'm thinking, how do I know it's okay? But then I said maybe that was I'm always looking for Lucas everywhere, but at the same time, I really got into my head, so I don't know. I don't know.
understandable.
I don't know.
Understandable. Okay, I think we might have some other suggestions here for you, Meg. Okay, Christine, you want to call us somebody? Oh, can't hear you, Christine. Your microphone's not working. Oh, oh my gosh, we're having quite a night tonight. I can't hear you. Okay. All right. Liz, do you want to share for us?
Sure. Just quickly, my dog is a rescue dog and he's really well trained and he's always on the leash. And I get the same problem with people. They have their dog on the leash, but they always say to me, oh, they're friendly. They're really good dogs. And I go sort of close to them and they go after my dog. And I think a lot of dogs don't like my dog, and I don't know if he gives off this weird rescue vibe or something, but people always say, "Oh, they're nice dogs," and I try to believe them, and then they go after my dog. So I have stopped now, and if they say they're really nice dogs, I go, "Well, yeah, he's not going to meet your dog." And I just keep walking because I can't trust what they say. And I really don't think a lot of dogs like my dog. And I can't explain that because he's really well trained. But they look at him and they go after him. So it's really weird that I don't know. I mean, that's just quickly. I understand how that happens. People tell you one thing, and that's not how it is. They tell you they're nice and they're not. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So,
Interesting. All
so
right.
maybe so is that the lesson that, I
Well,
can't really trust what people are saying. I have to go with
I,
what I'm feeling.
yeah, we're
Exactly.
hoping that is it, but it's really intriguing with this. We'll take Karen next. Karen, I see you, Monica. We'll get you next.
Hi, Meg. Um,
Hi, Karen.
so my dog's become one of those barkers. He used to be calm, but because everyone else was attacking him and he's always on lead, he's become quite reactive. But I wouldn't look at this in terms of dog behaviour and other people's behaviour. I'd look at it symbolically in terms of the path you're on. And this path isn't working, this dog path, because everywhere you're going, you're being attacked. It's been going on for a year. Change the path. That's what the dogs are telling you. So find a
So
new direction, a new walk, go to a park, go somewhere
I
safe where you're protected, where you're not being attacked. I see it as purely symbolic of your life because it's really bothering you.
well, this has
And
happened in different
I
places.
think you
So
need to find peace. So find a path that's peace.
hmm,
That's my advice.
okay, that's interesting. So I mean, you're literally not telling me to find a different path. You're telling me to mentally and emotionally find a different path.
That's right. But also find a different dog walking trail.
Oh,
Even if it means putting your dog in the car and going somewhere where you're not going to find other dogs.
oh,
Because
it's yeah,
this is your sort of beautiful time you spend with your dog, and you don't want to be in a position where you're anxious all the time and your dog is as well. So
yeah.
I see the symbolism in all of it. So yeah, find a path of peace. Yeah.
The interesting is, Karen, this has happened in many, many different spots. It's not just the one that I normally take. It's kind of
Okay.
crazy.
Keep searching.
Yeah.
I've done it myself. I've had to change every dog path I go on because my dog has become reactive. And
Mm,
I'm someone who does apologize. I don't think it's fair when someone gets attacked by your dog.
yeah.
So yeah, maybe there's a different way. Maybe I just think there has to be a different way for you to find this time with your dog that's peaceful.
I like the emotional spiritual path needs to change. That's actually
Well, that's what it
that's a
is.
good suggestion.
That's exactly what it is.
Mm, okay.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, that's so
Thank you.
helpful.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
there's so much that we have to change in life. We don't expect anything like that needing to be, but
Yeah.
I try and put everything into a spiritual path as well. And so I guess it's trial and error with all of this that we're trying and see what happens with that. It's a great suggestion. So thanks, Karen. Okay.
Okay, Monica had her hand up quick.
Good evening. I'm in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. I have a King Charles Cavalier. My son, when I visited him an hour up the road in Berks County, I'm in Cumberland County. What you need to do, a month ago, maybe they said the dog's got to be licensed, and we're going to give you a warning and then $500. So I did my dog years ago and then I let it lapse. There's a database. Get a hold of the dog warden. They're
Mm,
trying to get to the dogs that are the bad dogs in my area, and it's probably all over. You can have a chip and then it's one lifetime fee of $50, but I'm not into the chip because of cancer. So it's only $8. I'm a senior. Dog warden, treasury, figure it out. Everything's problem solving. But I do have dogs in my area that aren't leashed, and my dog isn't fixed. So
mm,
if he sees these two female dogs around the corner, he'll go get them.
Mm.
So, it's a mindset, but the dog warden should help. Google it, right?
yeah. Thanks,
Understand
everybody. I appreciate that.
there's rules, yeah. And you get a hold of them and complain about the dog. They'll go after it, maybe. I don't know. Problem solving. Good luck.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Just really quickly, I'm gonna piggyback off of what Karen had to say. I usually like to look things up when I'm not really sure, but this is what Google says. It says a dog jumping on you often symbolizes a need for immediate attention, affection, or a sign of intense, joyful, and protective energy. Spiritually, this action can represent a message of loyalty, a need to jump into action in your own life or an intuitive connection, as dogs are believed to read human vibrations and emotions. So I love
Wow.
that. I just
Yes.
thought I'd share that real quick.
Thank you. Always go
Yeah.
to, yeah, Google and
Yeah.
find the spiritual meaning because it really just opens it up in such a
Yep.
broad way that we don't often think about in that way. So perfect.
Yeah. Oh, Liza, did you have another question
Just
or?
along I love what you said, Christine. I'll try to remember that and I don't want it to happen again, but I'll
Yeah.
try to remember that. But along the lines, I liked what Karen was saying, and I was wondering, Meg, I know you're a spiritual person. When I'm about to face something, even if it is just a walk, I always invite my angels and my guides and my son, my mother, my ancestors to walk with me when I go for my walks. And it's really like it takes me about 5 minutes to really get ready to walk because I don't walk around aimlessly. I'm very intentional with my walk. So maybe give that a try when you're walking with your dog and see if you feel protected, and maybe that will give you a more positive experience. I don't know. It's just something I like what Karen was saying about it being a little bit more metaphoric. So I don't know, something to think about.
I think that's so good that you share that, Liza, because I think with soul planning we go deeper with all of this. It's like, we were all literal. It's like black and white, whatever, before this all happened. Now with the soul planning, it takes us into another category of looking at it in a different way, with meaning and purpose in a way that um, can be so helpful. It just opens it up to a more heart-based kind of way of thinking, of seeing things, and maybe even trusting it if it's not even that soul-based, because trusting it or learning from it. And our soul always knows. This is one of the comments that Scott had made. Our soul always knows what it is we need. So the experiences that you're having in that way with your dogs, or your own life experiences that you have, that things that are so challenging, go to that place of just thinking, or even could Google like Christine did, if you can, if there's something within that you can Google. But begin to trust that everything is soul planned, and that whatever you're going through has purpose and meaning, even if you can't get to the point. But to take that in, and now with a dog jumping on you is a whole different thing. But I think what Christine read is something to really consider, and maybe look at that dog as maybe it's a sign from your child in a way that you haven't before tonight. And maybe we all take that away. I don't have a dog, but honestly, I think if I had a jumping dog, I would take that in the next time I see a dog like that, and try and incorporate that in. They'll have to come back next month, and let us know if it worked. But I'm just kind of curious to see with something like that. But I now put almost everything that happens in my life is soul planned, no matter how challenging it is or beautiful it is. I trust this now 100%. This is a part of my life experience that I wouldn't have had. Why did it come into my lap? Why is this happening to me? Why did I have to witness that? Whatever it may be, I put it into that soul planning place, and it's not like I leave it there. I look at that as something that I must have needed to see, I must have needed to experience, or it would not have shown up in my life. And when you do that and you bring that into your life, your thinking more and more day after day, it allows you to really carry on in a I think almost an easier way of life. It's not just writing it off and go, oh, I can't do anything about it because it's so planned. You can embrace it and you can learn from it. But just by knowing that it came into your life, surprise, surprise, whatever it may be, because so often it is a surprise. Um, you take it in a way that it's like it's got bigger meaning. It's got deeper meaning. It's been put in front of you for you to look at, to explore, to even fight it if you want. But on the other hand, when we embrace the soul planning that we're spiritual beings here in a human body, that we've come here to experience, and our soul is giving us another new experience, or another maybe insight on our journey, then we are that much more um, I think aware of everything not being so bad or so hard, because we can house it in a new place in our heart. It can be hard. I mean, like, my husband has dementia, and so, the things that I'm spending a ton of time with him, and I'm not feeling sorry for myself by any means. I know I signed up for this. but you know, I'm really pretty good at it. And I can't believe sometimes how patient I can be. I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying because that's my soul doing the work, you know. It's coming out of Sarah. But I'm so surprised sometimes at how patient I can be and giving him the time and the everything that I need to make his life rich and full, which is really what I want. Am I sacrificing? Oh, I'm sacrificing, yeah, being out with friends and doing things that I used to do. But I trust this. And I know that I'm meant to experience it because it showed up. And so when whenever I talk about something that's, coming into your life or my life, I house it in that soul planning because it showed up, basically. And it must have meaning for me or for you because here it is. What do I do with it? And I think that we can sometimes think in a different a whole nother way if we're thinking about it in that way rather than just getting angry at it or feeling so sorry for ourselves. When we embrace it in a way that it's like, okay, I have no idea what to do with this experience, but it's here. What do I do with it? Well, you can ask people for help. Um, you can, sit with it for a while. You can sit for quite a while, but it's there. And so I'm just kind of encouraging you to start to look at that in your life. And I think it will enrich so many of your experiences in a way that will allow you to um, see yourself in a way that is just not a human being that just was brought something that you don't want to experience or that scared you or um, that you didn't even know what to do with it. Put it in that place and allow that to be for a while. And I think that you'll begin to see that it comes that the meaning and the purpose can evolve from that and allow you to live in a life that is deeper that any of us are meant to. I think any of us in Helping Parents Heal that have come into this experience with our children, we're being pushed into new experiences. We're meeting new people. We're finding that which resonates with us and that which doesn't, and that's okay. That's important. And so we are taking that time to reflect and digest, I should say, digest that which is coming to us in new ways. And um, yeah, and so one of Scott's comments to me that I see here, he says, love is always the thrust of every lifetime. And even as anger and confusion are soul planned, when divorce or separations or something like that must be experienced, it's profound, and then the crazy comes. Yet, divine purpose is behind and entwined in everything. That's a great sentence. Divine purpose is behind and entwined in everything. So when you start to take it in that way, you are able to um, not find comfort in it necessarily, but I find it settles me down in a way that's not just going to be that first experience that I can be surprised, but it's not taking it in a way that I might have years ago when I knew nothing about this. So I hope that that helps you begin to see. And it's another thing that Scott wrote me is in spirit, they see immense meaning and purpose in our lifetimes. They see immense purpose in our lifetimes. So they know they're implementing, into our lives that which we need as well. And so to know that our children are never not here, whether you hear them, whether you don't hear them, uh, no matter what the story is with that child was meant to come into your life, soul planned, and that child was also meant to leave their body when they did, as we know now. And when you embrace that in a way that it's like, but I wasn't ready for that. Of course not. None of us were. But when you know that that happened with them, as you do, we begin to let that be. It's not separating us necessarily. It almost brings them back in closer to us, soul to soul, that they had to leave their body at this point, but their spirit didn't leave. Their body did. And we certainly miss them, no doubt. But to start having new ways of looking at this and not be um, sitting in that place that's so hard and dark that anybody can go into. And sometimes we still have to go down that tunnel, but now we have new ways to come out of it as well. So lots of new ways to look at this. So I'd like to know if any of you can share with us if you how you've been able to see a soul plan come in your life, or something that you never thought you'd be doing, or feeling, or sharing, or whatever, but something that you could never have experienced that maybe is a positive, or something that you've learned that you pretty much know or feel is soul planned for your life to have been changed in the ways that it has been. And if this brings you balance or something like that. Does anybody have anything that you can think of? You know, like me, I look back in my life and I've done so many things I never would have done before Scott left his body. And I'm amazed at the places I've gone. And the we're writing this book now that Scott had given me, like written 80 some blogs with me years ago. And now we're putting this into a book, literally going to get it published. I waited for him to tell me because I wasn't going to do it. I'm not that motivated. I love the words. I didn't want anything to happen to all the words that we wrote. And when he said go last month or December, it's like, here we go. We're going to put this into a book and get this published. And it's hard work. Never done anything like this, but I'm trusting it. And wherever it goes, I mean, it'll be on Kindle and it'll be on Amazon, and I'm just trusting it. So that's one of the things that I never saw coming. And so when we begin to trust in this bigger picture of something that never would have thought entered our mind, or we never had a desire to do that. Does anybody have anything that you'd like to share that kind of surprises you that you're doing or that you're wanting to do, or that was not ever in your future or you thought? Maybe even meeting some friends that you have on from Helping Parents Heal, like-minded friends that are enhancing your life in ways that you never imagined. So if you don't want to share, you don't have to. I'll just keep talking and sharing things that I feel have helped me tremendously to see this bigger picture.
Oh, Claire.
Yes, I don't know if this is exactly what you're after, but I do believe it was a sign of a plan, and that is, I had been divorced for quite a long time when Spencer transitioned in 2017, and I had been not dating. I had been working on myself and getting myself together for about 5 years, focusing on improving myself in general. Then Spencer passed away, or transitioned, as we like to say, um, in 2017. And in 2018, I decided it was time to start dating again. And so I started doing things that would allow me to meet people. And I met a wonderful man, and we exchanged email addresses. And when he gave me his email address, the last four digits were 0414. And Spencer died on 0414.
Wow.
So the man that I've been partnered with for 8 years now, um, and who is the love of my life and is now my life partner, um, has the same birth date as my son's death date. And I took that as a huge hello from heaven, from my dad and from Spencer, saying, we brought you this man, and I can't tell you the blessings that came along with this man, besides the wonderful relationship. So I seemed like a plan to me.
It sounds like a plan to me. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. And putting the sign together with the date. Oh my goodness. So happy for you, Claire. That is,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for sharing, because that is, we need to hear it, stories, examples like that that are undeniable. You've got the
Yeah,
number, you've got the love, and the experience now. So definitely soul plan. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything? I think, are there in the chat, Christine, was there anything?
Let's see here. Nothing here as far as sharing in regard to the question. Just Bunny said that soul planning is new to her and she's just here tonight to try to understand it. So just welcomed her and it looks like, well, there was one hand up a second ago, but I didn't see who it was. I don't see it now. Um, nope, must have
Okay.
been just
Moving around.
an accident.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything you want to share with that you feel like a soul plan has come into your life in an unexpected way, or you're seeing yourself in new ways since this all happened for you?
Debbie, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Um, when my son was diagnosed, he lived several hours away from me, and so I left my job and I went down south, and I was staying with he and his wife, and I kind of figured it. We figured it was going to be for a long period of time. So I was talking to my daughter-in-law, and I said, I really need to. I said, I need to bring my cats down. They have like 3 big dogs. I said, I need to bring my cats down and find a place to stay. And I was looking around at condos and apartments and stuff, and it's down in the Florida Keys, and everything is so horribly expensive down there. So she said, well, I'll look around and put some feelers out, and let's see what we come up with. So she's talking to one of her really good friends, and her name is Teresa, and she says, "Oh my gosh," she said, "I just heard from my renter this morning, and she said that she's going to leave and she's going to go up to Key Largo and live with her boyfriend, and that she's going to be moving out in a week." She said, "Do you think that Debbie would be interested in renting that place?" And of course, I jumped on it. So it ends up, the place is like, I don't know, a quarter of a mile away from my son and daughter-in-law's house. So I could, when he wasn't in the hospital, I could walk back and forth to the house and stay with him during the day. And it happened to be, now this is it happened to be Teresa Leonia, if any of you know her. She is a member of Helping Parents Heal. Her son had transitioned a few years before Steve. They're both fishermen. And she was the one who hooked me up with Helping Parents Heal right away. And I call her my angel on earth because everything was lined up. And I do believe my heart that was part of the plan.
Yeah, I can see how that you would believe that. Just as time moves on and you get to see that kind of thing come together, it's just extraordinary. Don't you think to see that happen?
Yeah, it was like absolutely amazing how that worked out.
Yeah.
So thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. Sure helps to see that as a soul plan in a way of knowing that that's how that was to come to be. Not just to go, we used to say coincidence. Oh, it was just a coincidence. No,
No,
let's go much deeper than that. Yeah.
definitely
Thanks,
meant to be.
Debbie.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else want to share anything? Okay. Um, so any questions on soul planning? So, Bunny, you had some questions probably through all of this too, but let me just explain soul planning. What this means is that we plan our lives before we're born with our children and with anyone else that's going to come into our lives. in this lifetime experience. And so the depth of this journey is just not that we had a baby that we loved, that at some point in time left their body, and that's been the experience that now, we're all going through in some way, shape, or form. But soul planning means we planned our lives before we're born. And that means the experiences that we need, the people who we needed to meet, fall in love with, have issues with, whatever it may be, taking a job and then learning that that wasn't what the job was we wanted. So we move into another one. Even that kind of thing is soul planned as well. And the more you experience that, and the more you know about soul planning, the deeper that those words can come into your life to allow you to see the depth of these journeys that we're all going through really do have purpose and meaning, and it's just not random. I don't even look at random anymore as a viable word in my vocabulary because I believe that everything that's happening to me is meant to, good, bad, or ugly. And it allows me cope with the ugly and the bad in a way that's like, okay, I know this was something came into my life that I don't like, but what am I going to do with it? And life isn't going to be always easy because, life is full of experiences either way, good or bad. And so, Bunny, when we talk about soul planning, and we know that our children chose us to be their parent, their mothers here, or dad, the family is all soul planned. It becomes easier to just see the reason that we love so deeply and miss so deeply because this was a really deep soul planned experience for all of us, but so was their leaving their bodies, so was their um, time to go that we could never have known. The minute they leave their body, they knew that. They could see it so clearly. And that has helped me as well to understand the bigger picture with this. So I think I saw Christine had put down that you reading Your Soul's Plan by Robert Schwartz was the first book that I ever read. And it opened me up to soul planning because I didn't even know about it back then. And so I would suggest that book because it's a good introduction. He gives a lot of examples of what people have gone through. Each chapter is unique in its own way and allows you to learn more about the soul planning that many, many people through the chapters of his book experience, but the depth and the meaning of that as well. So yes, I would recommend that. Is there anybody, are there other books? Because I don't have the chat on. If I lose, I lose too much if I get into the chat. Were there any other books or anything that anyone had to suggest for Bunny? Mm, okay,
Did you want me to read what
sure.
Tara Lynn?
Mhm.
Okay. Uh, the Kabbalah is considered an excellent in-depth resource for understanding soul planning, including soul purpose, past lives, and personal transformation. It treats the soul as a vessel seeking to, there's something there blocking that. Okay, there we go. Seeking to fulfill its purpose and connect with divine light. It focuses on navigating life's challenges, understanding the 10, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Sephirat, and unlocking one's spiritual potential. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you for sharing that. Any other books that anybody has read that you found helpful? Joyce?
I also read Rob Schwartz's books, but I think one of the most impactful authors was Dr. Michael Newton. And he wrote two books well, he's written more than two books, but Journey of Souls and Destiny of Souls. They were probably one of the most powerful, life-changing experiences for me, just because he goes in between lives and he talks about the soul planning. This is what we were meant to do, and we decided we were going to take on these challenges in this lifetime so that our souls grow. And that's exactly what you're talking about, Sarah. So I highly recommend Dr. Michael Newton's books.
Written so long ago, but yet still so valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and insightful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, Christine, I was going to mention that
Eh,
too. Many lives, many masters.
yes.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever shared this story with you, but one morning when I was in such a desperate place, and I was getting ready to go to work and I was going to be late. I was a sales rep, so I could be late. But so I got in the name of a medium and I thought, I'm going to call her. It was 9:30 in the morning, my time. So I called her at 9:30. I thought, I need to get a reading with this woman. She'd been recommended to me. So I'm in Ohio. This woman, the medium, was in California. You know how early it was out there. I woke her up. But anyway, she was lovely. And I never even had a reading with her, but she said, I'm getting for you that you need to read Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss. And it was like, I've never forgotten that because it was like such a bizarre situation. I'm calling her in the morning, like she lives in Ohio or something. But I got that book right away. And yes, there's a lot in that book. Brian Weiss he's even online now still. He's a psychiatrist who he even does past life regressions on people, and that's how a lot of this is coming out. So really good books to suggest for a greater understanding of this bigger picture that when you embrace it, I think it helps so much with our grief and a greater
Spell
understanding.
Weiss, please.
Pardon me?
Can you spell the last name? I want to look it up. Weiss. How do you spell?
Weiss.
Okay,
Okay?
thanks.
Sure.
Brian.
Brian.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other suggestions? Okay, well, we still have a little bit of time. Does anybody have a question on soul planning that um, confuses you, or you don't know how to implement that, or um, just in your process of understanding it, if I can help in any way with that? Ah,
Well,
yeah. Thank you. Christine, you want to tell that?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure. Sure, we can. So my son Andrew had passed in July of 2014, and the way that I came across Sarah was I had probably come across one of her articles or something like that, going into, 2015, I would say, as early as 2015. And I had gone to the Angel of Hope Children's Memorial, which is at the same cemetery where Andrew is buried. And it was my first Mother's Day in May of 2015. And, I was very distraught, very upset and crying, and I went over to the angel statue and, I was just praying, for a sign. And I just kept repeating to myself, I need hope. I need hope. I need a sign. Um, I need a sign that Andrew is still with me. So, the next thing you know, there's a little silver car at the time is is what you had, the kind of car you had at the time, Sarah, I believe, that she came in through the driveway and pulled up to the box and, had gotten out of the car and, just this little cute little blonde lady. And I recognized her from her picture online, not really knowing that we were basically living in the same neighborhood. And, she came over and just gave me the biggest hug. And, the rest is history. So I just think that that was my sign of hope that day.
Pretty remarkable. And
Yes.
I love when things like that happen because you know, it's just meant to be. And Christine we've done so much. She's now on the Angel of Hope committee, the Children's Memorial Committee with me, and does a lot of work there for us. And so it all started there, and that was miraculous. So Yeah, Jessica, thank you for remembering that and
Yeah, thank you.
asking us to share that. But that is an example of, two people coming together that, we might have met before, but just to have that intimate time with just the two of us and we could just sit there and talk and share and you could cry, it was
Hmm.
it was just miraculous in its own way, but definitely soul planned as we know now. So,
Yes. Yes, absolutely. It's just it's my favorite story.
yeah.
My favorite story to tell. But oh, Kathleen just came up with another good book as well. George Anderson's Walking in the Garden of Souls. I know that's Irene's favorite.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yes, if you know Irene Vivaldi's, The Amazing Irene, yeah, that is her favorite book. So, um, all right, keep sharing.
Hmm?
Okay, I'll bring another quote up from Scott.
George Anderson.
Um, one of the things that he taught me was I didn't label myself a victim and I didn't hide my stories. I wasn't, oh, this is Scott telling me this is what he did. I didn't label myself as a victim and I didn't hide my life stories. I started sharing with people I felt safe with. And sometimes they didn't have to even feel safe. Sometimes it just came out. I wasn't bypassing grief, I was walking in it. Perhaps it had become kind of my everyday experience by then. And to be able to share so openly and um, not see myself now as a victim, I see myself as a mom whose child left to on the timing he needed to go, and yet he's been back to guide me and help me in ways that I never could have imagined. So I see meaning and purpose in that so big because as I thought for many years that Scott was just, and you might, and I'm sure many of you have thought this and maybe still do, that he just left and it was severed, the ties were severed and it was over. And I learned, when it was time for me, you're all learning a whole lot more sooner than I did because I had no help. And Scott passed in 1994. So there was like nothing going on. And so when I look back on that, I trusted my journey in ways that I couldn't have known, but I was meant to in taking these things in and absorbing them and allowing them to be, a part of my new thinking. And so in time, I didn't label myself a victim and I wasn't hiding my story. I was sharing it openly with people and allowing whatever their expression was on their face, it was fine. I was doing what I knew I needed to do and experienced that. No one was ever really rude to me, so that helped as well. But we begin to see ourselves in new ways rather than victim. We get to see ourselves as still the mom who's exploring and expressing and having to experience this in ways that will be different uniquely for all of us, different and the same. Sometimes we'll a lot have, many common experiences as well. That's why it's so good to get together. Okay, I see Sienna. Yes.
It's
Hi, it's Shauna.
Shauna.
Oh, I'm
Shauna.
sorry.
That's all right.
Oh,
Yep.
sorry.
Um, so I am wondering, because this is very new for me. How do you get such clarity from your son? Do you do automatic writing? Do you just have like, is it like clairaudience or because I can hear my daughter with little tiny things every so often I'll feel like a very clear, yes, no, do something, but I can't even fathom getting like that much out of it. So I'm curious.
This has been a long journey. Okay, so I'm giving you a 30 years where I am. So don't take that in as anything like, because I didn't really hear Scott or anything from, he told me to build a children's memorial at 6 years. I ignored it because I didn't know what the voice was. I didn't even know it was possible to hear him. So I did build a children's memorial when he told me the second time. So I think just being aware of this and just talk to your child, all of you, talk to your children and just let them know they know anyway, but it's good for you to practice, talking with them and bringing them along and saying, oh, yeah, I know you would have loved this at the store or something like that, or I'm making your favorite meal tonight. We miss you. They'll come in their timing. And I think being a part of Helping Parents Heal is one of the most beneficial things you can do because you're going down a path that is so positive and helpful in knowing that there's this journey. But we're all going to hear or connect. Our children are going to connect with us in the timing for our soul planning. None of us know when that is. We want it, we need it. And yet, when you just trust that you're doing what you need to do in experiencing these things and by talking to them and sharing with them and bringing them into your life, still not like they've just, like I thought, disappeared. And it will come in spirit, in your child's own timing, spirit's timing, what your soul plan would have indicated. So we don't know what's on page 1 of our soul plan. We don't know what's on page 15 of our soul plan, but they are following a plan. So sometimes, because you may not be hearing him, you might take some classes or talk to a medium that you might not have otherwise because you're being pushed by not having what you want quite yet. And yet, what can you learn from going to a medium or going to other classes? And it's just it's just interesting how it all works because you're still learning no matter what. And the desire, I think every one of our children knows that we want that, but they also see your plan so clearly that that will come when it is meant to. So when you trust that what you're getting, if you're getting little insights, go, okay, well, he's here. I know he's here. He's not, he's like right here, but he's not right here. It feels that way, but he is. He's right there. So trust the journey, trust the timing of what it needs to be, all for all of us individually.
Thank you.
That help? Okay,
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much.
sure. Anybody else have anything? Okay, well, we had kind of a different night. Oh, Monica?
One last question that is very interesting but mysterious. Can you describe a little better how they pick us? It's a little mysterious for me.
Well, when we were all in spirit, we
Uh-huh.
planned this before we came into our bodies that we would be together in this lifetime. So we were both spirit at that time. We knew we needed to be together again, most likely. We've been together before. So we planned this before we were even born. Then we're born, 20 or 20, 30 years before a child. And then they come in as they were meant to in their timing. So it was all planned before we were born. We were in spirit, making this plan and knowing that it would take years to implement,
Uh-huh.
but it would be implemented in the way that it needed for the experiences that we need, the learning that we would take or take in this period of time. And
So genealogy and all that is all intertwined in it, right? The process. It's
yeah,
amazing.
it
It's
is.
so much to learn about it.
Yeah, so much bigger picture than we think. We're so human when this happens to us and it's all black and white. And then we figure out that it's not so black and white, it's in that gray area, and then it becomes more clear and it expresses itself, and then we are that much more aware and
Very
finding,
mysterious.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
Thank
is
you.
intriguing. I'm glad you asked that, though. It's a good question.
Well, it's hard to wrap around.
Mhm.
It's not visual, you know what I mean? It's an abstract concept, right?
It is, but if you take that in, that, well, we planned this before we were born, so this is how
Okay.
this all came to be. That
Okay.
was the original plan. I'm sure we've all been with our children before. They might have been our parent, they might have been our next door neighbor,
Wow.
yeah. So anything like that. But this was the parental one that for this lifetime for us. But you're
Amazing.
yeah, but
Thank
you're
you.
also going to be expanding greatly, any of us on helping parent. If you join
I
Helping
know.
Parent, we're all expanding in so many ways spiritually.
Sharing ideas. I know.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's mind blowing. And
Very
then
purposeful.
Jason used to like critique me like he was my parent. And I'd
Mm,
get frustrated, but
there you go.
is there's so many things that you think back now. Wow.
I know.
Thanks for sharing every word.
Yeah. Well, thank
Helps.
you. Good. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. It was lovely to see you. Um, please come back. We'll be doing this again next month. And I wish you well and all goodness coming. Look at all the hearts. I love that.
Thank you.
Thank
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
I
Thank
learn
you.
something every
Good night.
time. Amen.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Sarah. You inspired.
Thank you, Liza.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
All right. Christine, I'm looking to
Okay, I'll stop the recording. Hang on. Oh, did you stop it?
no, I didn't
Oh.
hit anything.
Okay, hang on. Oh, there it is.
Is that in host